Okay. Good morning, everyone. It might seem like I'm looking down because I am. And I'm going to make this a short video. And I'm going to talk about the commonality of addictions. I've been following uh, the opioid crisis well, the open air market in Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with the zombie drug, xylazine. And I've been following the addicts, and I've been, I'm sorry to say, but I've been having such a, a don't care attitude about these people. I'm like saying xylazine, if for those who don't know, is a home, is a a sedative for horses who are in pain. If they have a broken leg, when they try to fix their legs, it's an animal tranquilizer, and it's used for horses, different animals, to you know, alleviate them from their pain and things. And now this is what the um, the addicts are taking now. They said there's no fentanyl, no dope, because the I guess the government has, really cracked down on bringing these illegal drugs. I know where I live at, they're constantly arresting the drug dealers, not the addicts anymore. It used to be they would arrest the addicts and the dealers would go free. But anyway, you know, then I observed someone who, you know, is addicted, who says they're addicted to nicotine. And I realized that, just being me, being the observant person that I try to be at all times, I try to observe and, make, read and learn about different things. So, um, and I was listening to a person say they don't smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. They smoke 1 pack a day. And I did the math. And if anybody knows anything about cigarettes, there's 20 cigarettes per package. And you times that times 7 days, that's 140 cigarettes a week. Times that by the month, it comes out to something like 560 cigarettes a month times 12 a year, which is 12 months, times that 560 comes like to 6,720 20 cigarettes a year, almost 7,000 cigarettes per year. So, and you don't know how long the person is doing it, but if you time it by the number of years they have smoked like this, you can see how they would become addicted to to cigarettes. I myself, I when I was the last time I ever had a cigarette in my mouth was when I was 15 years old. I'm an asthmatic, and I used to smoke, and like most kids do, because it's the thing to do. You're coming of age. You're still young. You're still you're still hard headed. You're still stupid. You just do everything to be popular with the crowd, being the in crowd, and everything. So I I do everything to stop to be with the in crowd. Make a long story short, my journey with the addiction to cigarettes ended when I was 15, because my being an asthmatic, I should have never smoked, been put a cigarette in my mouth in the beginning. And I the last cigarette I took, I couldn't breathe, and it was like I had a pressure in my chest, like somebody was sitting on it and put a pillow over my face and wouldn't take it off. And I was fighting to breathe and fighting to get it. So that was it for me. Once I went to the doctor, got myself straightened out, I said, that's it for me. And cigarettes, I'll never do it. And I asked my mom, I said, "Why didn't you stop me from tell me to stop smoking?" She said, "Because I knew the cigarettes would tell you eventually, the cigarettes would tell you to stop. Your health would tell you to stop." So, you know, so I understand part of it and stuff, but you want, and I have an addiction. I do have an addiction, and this may sound crazy, but I have an addiction to salt. It's crazy. It's crazy. I love salt. Salt, SALT, what you sprinkle in your food. It's a killer, especially among black people, African American people. You know, the food we eat, because we grew up eating um, a lot of, we grew up eating a lot of pork. Most of us did. The southern way of cooking is so good. The pigtails, the country food. This is the food that years ago sustained black people who brought them through the hard times. Because black people didn't make very much money in the beginning. So, you know, they ate the salted pork, and the pork was salted. My father was from Virginia, and he knew about it, and my mother used to speak about it, and my family is from the South, and a lot of them were from the rural South. They were farmers. They had their own. My dad lived on a farm, and they raised the hogs and stuff, and they salted them to preserve them, to keep them through the winter, and they wouldn't spoil, and they would have enough food, and they wouldn't be hungry. But anyway, we all have an addiction, whether we want to admit it. And looking at the drug addict, looking at the people smoke, just looking at things in general, you know, addictions have a commonality. And by commonality, I mean whether it's a cigarette, whether it's food, because some people are addicted to food. If you ever watched, um, if you have ever watched my my 600 pound life on TLC, you see people there who, when you see the amount of food they eat, you're like, why would you cook that much? And they have people who cook this food for them. There was actually a lady who had an electric frying pan and literally fried chicken while laying in the bed. It was so unreal to me. If I was that big, I wouldn't get. And I'm hefty. I'm chunky. I'm a hippie big girl. I'm a pear shaped big girl, and you know, and I gained weight from my childhood weight, from being underweight. I went from being underweight to being overweight, and when I get to a certain weight, even now, I'm back on my diet thing because I realize I went over 300, but I'm way down from you know, over the 300 mark. I'm back down. I'm still heavy, but I'm back down at 200. But it's an addiction. I love to eat and I love salt, but salt doesn't like me, but I crave it. It retains the water in my body. Lately, my blood pressure's been going up because I like the dip. I like the um I like the dip, the dip, the onion dip. I like the spicy foods and stuff. And I realized you can't do that. So I you know, it's an addiction with me. It's not the food so much as it is the salt. I crave salty things, and I'm definitely was addicted to sodas, just soda in general, because I tell everybody that I grew up. I was I wasn't allowed to have soda. I never had a full bottle of soda until I became 14 and worked the summer youth programs that they used to have. They used to run the summer employment programs for the youth, summer youth employment programs. I remember at 14, I made my first check. I got my first paycheck for actually working. And all my friends went and got shoes, went to the shoe store. They saw a pair of shoes they wanted. The girls bought shoes. The guys bought they used to wear those knit shirts and everything. And they went and bought those and they took their money and spent it on clothes. But I bought a soda. That was the first thing I ever paid for out of a paycheck. Then I went to get the clothes, then I went to get the shoes. But anyway, I'm seeing now, and I ask God to forgive me because I've passed judgment on people. Oh, my thing is the new the new drug for people who once were addicted to heroin, being that I guess the government is doing such a good job with, stopping the source of the heroin and the cocaine and stuff, that now I'm seeing things where drug addicts tell you the only thing left is they shoot horse tranquilizer. It makes them zombie like it eats their flesh. You have to, anybody who's interested can just go to YouTube and type in, um, type in, Kensington Daily, and it will show you the drug addicts, and you'll see what I'm saying. This new drug they have literally is eating their skin away from the inside to the out. You have to see it to believe it. You have to see it to believe it. Hold on. I have to mute. I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that. I'm back. Um, I'm back. So, as I was saying, it's literally eating their skin away. And I'm like, you're not an animal. Why would you take that drug? I just wasn't getting it. But, you know, and after hearing, someone wanting to say about is to say that they're they need a cigarette. All they want is a cigarette. I just realized that there's all kinds of addictions, and it's so easy for someone like myself, to say, uh, to to say, why would you, just quit? It's so easy to say, just quit, and it's not that easy to quit anything. You know, I don't have, I really don't have a major, major, a major addiction. Well, yes, I do, because it is anything that affects your health uh, is a major addiction. So it, the salt is affecting mine. But the purpose of this video that I'm doing is, I may not be saying it right now because I just thought about it, but you know, I'm seeing a different side of it, and then as I was listening to the different things, I really saw where, I put it together myself, and I'm going to do some more research on it. That, um, you know, addictions are hard to break. Like I was addicted to Pepsi Cola because when I worked, I used to drink a 6 pack, 20-ounce Pepsis daily. That's murder. That's like kicking yourself in your kidneys. That's destroying your kidneys. You know, I and I used to do that. I used to do that, but I finally stopped it. But it damages your body. That's a lot of sugar. You're taking a lot of damage to your body. But for me, the hardest thing to do away, I finally stopped drinking all those sodas. Actually, I don't even like them because I may drink a soda once in a while and I'll get a Pepsi. Once in a while, I get a taste for it, but I generally never finish it. I never finish a 20-ounce Pepsi. It goes flat. I either pour it out or give it away. But, addictions aren't easy to correct. I never considered myself an addict, but I'm doing different research on things, you know, and and I read, and I'm constantly reading. So the I've read where they did research where, and the tobacco companies have been sued because they have put uh, and it, that Nick they have it has been proven that nicotine is addictive, and they put an additive into the cigarette to addict the smoker, so they'll keep buying the cigarettes, keep buying cigarettes. Everything is an addiction if you do it in abundance. Salt is my addiction. I watch my 600 pounds lives. Food is an addiction to some people because they like to eat and they can't stop. Stress causes a lot. I think stress causes people to smoke because I've known people who chain smoked. So, and they're stressing, oh, I need a cigarette every time something goes wrong. Me, I like to eat when I get upset. When I get upset, I eat. And I'm not, most people that I know, when they get upset, they can't eat. They drop all the weight. I'm the total opposite. When I get upset, I eat. Sometimes I find myself eating when I'm upset. I'll come out of it and I'll say, I don't want this. Why am I eating? You know, and I went through that kind of and so in addiction and salt and stuff, everything, when you're upset, you eat, you smoke. A lot of people smoke when they stress. I cry when I stress. That's an addiction. Everything is an addiction. It if you I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I haven't really explored the subject. I'm going to read some psychological reports on stress and how it affects you and different how people cope with stress. And I think a lot of our addictions come from stress. And the addiction of the drug addictions, from listening to different things and reading different articles, a lot of people who had, who not all, I'm going to say not all, but a lot of people, especially women who have been traumatized by rape, by, by different traumas in their lives, they, you know, they turn to drugs, to that type of addiction. But then you have the people who stress and they turn to their sugar. Some people turn to alcohol to relieve their stress. Some people smoke. I've seen that. So, but my point I'm trying to make with this video is all addictions have a common factor. There's an underlying problem, and the reason why people are addicted to whatever it be. Some unfortunately get addicted to drugs, whether they, you know, through a trauma, or a lot of times you go to the hospitals. And the hospitals, as far as drug addiction, the hospitals, when you have surgery, I don't know if anybody is going to hear this, and if anybody has a drug addiction, a drug addiction, an opioid addiction, it starts in the hospital. I've had a few surgeries, and they give you. There's so many shots they can give you, and I take when you well naturally when you have the surgery, they give you the drugs. They come when you wake up after surgery. You're very sore, and it's very painful. The first 3 4 days is very painful. I'm not sure the number, but I know it's 12 or no less than 9 shots of morphine, uh, opioid of any type of oh, excuse me, opioid. They give you those for the painkiller. Now, myself, I've had a cesarean, and cesarean births are very painful because it's an operation because they're cutting your stomach out to deliver the baby. So the first 3 days, you know, you're sewed up depending on what they do to you. They used to staple you together. That was very, very painful, having staples in your body. And you try to turn over, and it's just crazy. So they stopped it. Now they glue you together, you know, but it's still painful. So myself, after the third day, maybe the fourth day, no longer than the fourth day, I refused the pain medication. And when you refuse the pain medication, are you sure you don't want it? It's the pain. You aren't in pain? No, I'm still in pain, but the pain is bearable. You get up, you walk around after surgery, and eventually you begin to feel better. You get up and walk around. Plus, if you have surgery and you get up and walk around, it keeps you from having blood clots. It keeps you from it keeps your blood circulating. So it has the effects of getting up and walk around works two ways. Keeps you from having pneumonia, keeps you from getting blood clots, and it helps you heal quicker. The pain from the surgery and things. So the pharmaceutical company, the hospital pushes the opioids. Then then the patient gets addicted to it because they want that relief from the pain. They think want it from the pain, but then they feel they need it, whatever they feel. I'm just repeating some of the things that I've read and some of the things I've heard people say why they can't. People I've known say, oh, I needed this and that's how I got that. But I don't get into it. You know, after after 4 doses, after the surgery, 3 doses, four at the most, I don't mess with it. But anyway, that's a little off topic, but it not really though. The hospital pushes it and stuff like that. So we have many factors that lead us to an addiction. But the addictions they all have something in common. Some kind of trauma, some kind of stress. With the economy being as high as it is today, everything is sky high. There's The prices are high and there's never enough money. There's very low. And once you have an illness and you get behind in your bills, you can't keep up. You can't keep up. That's a stress. You get depressed. Suicides are up. Everything is an addiction. People can't handle things. So my outlook on my outlook on addiction had got kind of brutal with the what is it with the xylazine. That's what I'm trying to say. The animal tranquilizer. People shooting animal tranquilizer. and I really didn't care. But it's it's different now. I just started just paying more attention and researching things, and then when I saw, you know, I saw something about nicotine addiction. Nicotine addiction is real. I never thought it was a real because, like I said, I didn't get that far in my journey with smoking because my body my body turned me off to it because I'd rather breathe than to smoke a cigarette. You know, maybe if it hadn't affected me some other way, I might have still continued to smoke. But not being able to breathe and feeling like somebody has a pillow over your face and they're trying to kill you and you're fighting to breathe, it kind of brings you back to reality real quick. So when I was 15, that was the last time I had a tobacco cigarette in my mouth, you know. But anyway, I just I just learned, you know, you think you know a lot about everything, and then something will come up and it'll start the thought process going again. Well, let me look into that. That's the kind of person I am. I'm an info freak. I love information about something. And before I really speak on it, I like to understand it, get somewhat of an understanding of it. And I've, I'm getting an understanding about people having these addictions, and realizing that we all have some sort of addiction, and don't. Most of us don't want to admit that we have an addiction. Oh, coffee drinkers are back-to-back coffee drinkers. That's an addiction. You drink a pot of coffee a day. That's a lot of caffeine. That's stress on your heart. That's stress on your heart. But people smoke cigarettes all day and drink coffee all day, you know. And I look at that. I said, well, I never thought of it as being addiction. But you sit and you drink a pot of strong black coffee every day, and you don't, and you may not think you're addicted, but you're addicted. Drinking a 6 pack of 20-ounce Pepsis, that's an addiction. I didn't look at it as an addiction, but that's an addiction. That was an addiction. I stopped it, thank God. But, I stopped it. But the damage is done. It was done. So, the damage is it's just crazy. But I'm not I'm going to look into this more. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to look into that topic. I'm going to study it more. Actually, I have studied alcohol and drug abuse counseling, but I haven't. I had the classroom hours, but I don't have the clinical hours, the working hours in it. So I may revisit that. I may take up some courses in it and get back into that again because I gave up on it because actually, I hate to admit it, I took the course, but I thought most addicts were just lazy people because it's the in and out. If you come in, I figured you come in and you go out clean, and then you come back again because you got repeat offenders. But then again, yeah, I just begin as I get older, I realize you got to read repeat offenders in a lot of things. You got people who go on diets, lose weight, they look good for a while, and then they go back, they eat again. You got people who have the what do you call it, surgery, the bypass surgery for weight loss surgery. That's what it is, weight loss surgery. They have the weight loss surgery, and then you know, and then they do it good for you, but then they have all the weight back. They gain it because, and I'm not talking to that is one of the side effects. because once you have weight loss surgery, you are on a perpetual diet until the day you die if you want to maintain the weight loss. You cannot just have the surgery, lose the weight, and think it's going to stay off, because it's not. You can't eat everything you want to eat with it. But a lot of people make that mistake. Then they go back and they want the operation again. It's like a vicious addiction. It's like a vicious cycle of things. It really is. It really is a vicious cycle of things. I just thought I would come on and say that. That's just the beginning. I'm going to look up and get some more statistics on this, the different things, and see if I can find some stuff, what other people think, what, psychologists and different people think about addictions in general, you know. So I'm going to end this. Uh, I'm going to end this one, and everybody have a blessed day and things. But I'm looking at it as, you know, like I said, we all addictions are all have a commonality. They all have something. Addictions all have a relationship together, and by that I mean it's not easy to let go of an addiction. I thought, like most people do, think addictions are easy to overcome, but they're not. They're really not easy to overcome. Addictions are, no matter what your addiction is, it's not easy to overcome. And it may be a small thing, but it's not easy to overcome. Everybody, have a good day.